Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. RSS leader Suresh Joshi Wednesday had said, and I'm going to quote what exactly he said, that Mumbai does not have any one language. It has many languages, and here certain areas have their own language. The language of Ghatkopar is Gujarati, whereas in Girgaon, you will have fewer Hindi speakers and more Marathi speakers. So, is it that any individual coming to Mumbai may not necessarily learn Marathi? This is what Suresh Joshi had to say. And after he made that statement, opposition parties were up in arms against this particular statement, seeking BJP's clarification. Devendra Fadnavis had to come out and give a clarification on this. Then Suresh Joshi himself had to issue a clarification saying that his statement was misunderstood and it was distorted by the media. But this statement coming from an RSS leader is always, is of course coming at a time when the language issue is on the boil in Tamil Nadu. So, is this an RSS agenda of one language, one nation, or it is the imposition of Hindi in several other states, which BJP and RSS perhaps could be planning? So, we'll try and explore all of this. Joining me now is S. Srinivasan, editor-in-chief of the Federal Group. So, thank you so much for joining. And we have Vivek Deshpande, political commentator and veteran journalist. Thank you so much, Vivek, for joining. And Vivek, I'll begin with you because the statement started with Suresh Joshi's comment. Why do you think that he made a statement like this? Was it a deliberate statement, or was it something? What was it? A kind of a Freudian slip, if we may call?
Yeah, Nilu, I don't know why he chose to put the entire thing in those words, because I think he was wrong in saying that it is not necessary to learn Marathi when you come to Mumbai. I think it is necessary to learn the local language wherever you go. If I go to Tamil Nadu tomorrow, it is necessary for me to learn Tamil. But of course, it cannot be imposed by the Tamil people on me. They cannot force it on me. Similarly, the Marathi people cannot force the learning of Marathi language on me. It's my choice. It's my necessity. It's my need. So I definitely need to learn the local language wherever I go. So to say, for Bhaiyyaji Joshi to say that anyone coming to Mumbai, it's not necessary for him to learn Marathi is wrong. What he could have chosen to speak is, it should not be compulsory for anyone to learn the local language, because compulsion comes from the other side and necessity is on this side. I mean, it's on my side. I think he made some mistake when he spoke in those terms. Of course, I mean, given the background of the RSS, as far as the languages is concerned, RSS was born in Nagpur, which is a city in Maharashtra, which is a Marathi-dominated city. Although it was part of the central provinces and Berar state, erstwhile state, and became Maharashtra. It became part of Maharashtra in 1960. So it has a legacy of Hindi as well. So many Maharashtrians here speak fluently in Hindi between themselves also, among themselves also. So there is no such parochialism as far as Marathi is concerned, just as we have seen for many years in Mumbai and those adjoining areas. Particularly, this cause was championed by Shiv Sena, who insisted, very violently insisted, on people from other states coming to Mumbai to learn Marathi. And there have been campaigns about putting out those boards in Marathi, the shop boards and other hoardings and all in Marathi. So there have been very violent agitations in favor of Marathi by Shiv Sena, Manse, and those kind of parties. So Marathi is a very the sentiment around Marathi is very strong in Mumbai. And for someone like Bhaiyyaji Joshi, who himself is a Maharashtrian, which he clarified later in the statement that he issued, that yes, he is a very proud Maharashtrian and all, and he speaks Marathi, he is a Marathi himself. So that sentiment around Marathi language is very strong in Mumbai. And if we look at the use of this parochialism in Marathi, about Marathi in Mumbai and other areas in Maharashtra, then I think Suresh Joshi seems to have committed a mistake by choosing those words when he spoke about. I don't know what was the subject matter of the speech that he gave. Was it about the language per se? I don't know. If he was specifically talking about languages, then it was all the more incorrect. If he's saying in the context of some other subject, then I think one doesn't remain very particular about choice of words when that subject is not pertaining to that particular language or something. So I don't know the background of the speech that he was giving, but the manner
No,
in
but
which
the
he put it.
clarification
uh,
he gave, Suresh Joshi, the next day with the clarification which he gave, in that he did mention about the fact that he was talking about the multiplicity of languages, the diversity of languages in India. And in that
okay.
context, he spoke.
Yeah, yeah. So it's okay. It's okay to say that Mumbai is a city not just of Marathi speaking people. That's a fact. I mean, I think if you look at Mumbai and the adjoining areas, which is a population of something like 1.5 crores or maybe 2 crore, I don't know. Only 45, 50 lakh people are Maharashtrians. Even in Thane, which was predominantly a Marathi city, now the statistics. If you look at the statistics, most of the immigration is coming from the Hindi belt to Thane. The Thane is no more a Marathi dominated city. So it's not just a Marathi speaking area, so to speak, Mumbai and the adjoining metropolitan areas. They are uh, now people speaking other languages are also in vast numbers there, particularly those coming from Hindi belt, because nowadays the migration is mostly from the Hindi belt in terms of employment and all. And we know how violent agitations were staged first against Tamilians and then now against the Hindi speaking people who are in a very derogatory term called Bhaiyas. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, coincidentally, Mr. Joshi is also called as Bhaiyyaji Joshi. So, so that's a very interesting coincidence. But Bhaiyyaji Joshi was he trying to uh, kind of please the non-Maharashtrian in Mumbai in view of the forthcoming BMC elections? I don't know. But if people derive that meaning out of his statement, then people will not be wrong because RSS doesn't make statements
No,
just out of
the way, no,
they
but
have
no, but the way he fleshed out the details that the people who stay in Ghatkopar don't necessarily speak Marathi, but they speak largely Gujarati. That's what those kind of details he spoke about does go to
yeah.
indicate that this obviously was a statement which he thought about it. Then he made that statement.
Yeah, so when you say that the language of Ghatkopar is Gujarati, that is how it has come out. I mean, exactly what were his words, I have not heard his speech directly, but what has been reported is he says that the language of Ghatkopar is Gujarati, which means that there are no other people living in Ghatkopar except for Gujaratis. There are no other people. There must be a lot of Maharashtrians. There must be a lot of South Indians there. So how can the language of Ghatkopar be Gujarati? So if you are for equal status to all the languages, if you feel that Mumbai is not a city speaking in one particular language, then you can't say in case of Ghatkopar that the language of Ghatkopar is Gujarati. So I think there is contradiction in different statements that he is making in this one speech, which has actually forced him to issue that clarification later on. But if you look at the attitude, if you look at the position of the RSS vis-a-vis languages, then we know for sure that RSS was opposed to linguistic division of country. I mean, the creation of states on the basis of language was something which RSS was never in favor of, and the choice of Hindi as their language of communication, the RSS had a particular vision because they knew that the RSS appeal would be more pronounced in Hindi speaking areas, the Hindutva appeal, because of those kind of audiences were there in large number outside Maharashtra, not in Maharashtra. Because Maharashtra was always a very progressive state. Phule Shahu Ambedkar and the legacy of Congress, communism, and socialism, all this was there in Maharashtra. So they did not have any immediate appeal in Maharashtra. They knew it for sure. So to create an immediate audience, they chose Hindi as a language of communication. All their programs are conducted in Hindi. The Dashera speech or the third year OTC valedictory function, their all speeches are in Hindi by Bhagwat or his predecessors. So Hindi had an immediate appeal, so they chose Hindi. But if you are trying to insist that Hindi should be accepted even by South India, then how can you say that Marathi should not be spoken by people coming from other states? There is a contradiction in this. If you want Tamil Nadu to accept Hindi as a national language, then you cannot probably say that Marathi is not a language of Maharashtra, or Mumbai does not have a particular language as its language of communication. You cannot say that. I think he has very clearly erred in putting out his views in a very logical way. They don't connect logically with each other, particularly given the fact that RSS has chosen Hindi as their language of communication. It wants the entire country to accept it. With that as background, this statement of Suresh Joshi or Bhaiyyaji Joshi actually is a contradiction in terms. So I think he has quite clearly erred in whatever he said, and it will have some political ramifications, particularly in BMC elections, which will be conducted, I think, in a few months' time. By the end of this year, all the municipal elections are going to be held in Maharashtra, and BMC is one particular corporation which BJP badly wants to own. They want to have their power in BMC and just push Shiv Sena aside. So with that in mind, if he's trying to appeal to people, non-Marathi people, then I think it's quite possible that he may have actually said it deliberately and only trying to now cover it up by pitching for Marathi in Maharashtra, just to kind of please the Maharashtrians. So maybe it's both ways. We don't know.
Right. So I'll purely take a cue from what you said about BMC elections. And if deliberately that statement was made, keeping an eye on the BMC elections, then Srini sir, coming to you, isn't it more worrying then that for elections, for political gains, are BJP and RSS raking up the language issue? We already see that the language issue is on the boil in Tamil Nadu, and now outside Tamil Nadu, raking up this issue again in Maharashtra. Today it was Maharashtra. Tomorrow it could be some other state. Do you think that there is an effort by BJP and RSS to deliberately trigger this language war in the country? You'll have to unmute, sir. Sir, you're muted. Yes.
Yeah, Neelu, let's first put in context this whole language war which is happening more in southern India right now. Basically, it is Tamil Nadu which is opposing what it calls as attempts at imposition of Hindi by the center. That is the crux of the problem. Now, why the state government is saying this? Because the new education policy insists, it's not insisting, it recommends a three-language formula for all the states and says that it could have one English language and then two Indian languages. That is the formulation which the NEP has made. To be fair to NEP, it's nowhere saying that it should be, one of them should be Hindi. But in Tamil Nadu, it is being read differently. See, after the language agitation, which started here from 1930s onwards, where several people died and several got arrested, and emergence of prominent leaders took place, Anna Durai's main rise was because of Hindi agitation, and subsequently Karunanidhi became a major Dravidian party leader because of Hindi agitation. Anna Durai founded the party, and Karunanidhi became his inheritor, who steered the party, DMK. So DMK is again in power. So why would a center do something which is trying to help DMK? I think the point here is that the whole thing started with state government writing a letter to the prime minister. Stalin wrote a letter saying that please give us whatever is due to us from centrally sponsored scheme under the category of education. So after a couple of letters, Dharmendra Pradhan, Union Education Minister, responded saying that, look, this is linked to, in a way, he directly hinted that, not just hinted, he pointed out that if you don't implement NEP, then we won't be giving you the due, which is amounting to about 5,000 crore rupees. And that is where the whole thing started. So then it became a complete war of words. Now, the thing here is why DMK suspects, or the government here suspects, that they are trying to push Hindi through backdoor, because relief was given under 1968 official languages resolution in the parliament, that Tamil Nadu is the only state which can adopt two-language formula, whereas rest of the country should go ahead with a three-language formula. And most of the states in the rest of the country almost all the states have accepted the three-language formula. Only Tamil Nadu is resisting, and it has got a relief from the official resolution passed in the parliament as well. So the Tamil Nadu government is wondering, when such a thing is already there officially, why BJP is constantly raking this issue. Recently, in 2020, in Parliament, Amit Shah also spoke about how a time has come when Hindi should be made a national language. Now, this again raised heckles of the leaders here, because the status of Hindi as of now is that it's an official language. And like English is an official language, linked language, communication between the state and the center. Similarly, Hindi is an official language, and all the states and the 8 scheduled language have been given the same status of official language. Now, there are some developments which have taken place recently as far as Marathi is concerned. It was declared as a classical language recently. The demand was there for quite some time, and the central government decided to recognize Marathi as a classical language. Now, my own my own feeling is that BMC elections are coming in Mumbai, and it's a very crucial election. Shiva Sena has always raked up the language issue. If you go into history, Shiva Sena's birth was on chauvinistic issues only. I'm talking of the undivided Shiva Sena, which is now largely the faction which is Uddhav Thackeray. And his father, Bal Thackeray, is the one who led anti-Tamilian agitation also in the 1960s. Now, the grouse was something else those days, that a lot of South Indians were coming to Mumbai and occupying government posts. I mean, these are largely newly minted clerical posts and other things in central government employment, like accounts, CAG, telecom, railways, those kind of employment, which was not Marathi or Maharashtrians. So that's what the main grouse then. Agitation was led by Bal Thackeray, and that was history. But if you have to compare with today's Maharashtra, it's a very different story. Maharashtra is India's #1 state in terms of economy. It contributes nearly 14% share of GDP of Maharashtra. It's the most industrialized state now. And therefore, and the education levels are also pretty high now. So therefore, those issues do not exist as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. Yes, like Vivekji pointed out, that there was some ruckus a few years ago, a few decades ago, when some remarks were made, some slurs were made, migrants coming from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, calling them as Bhaiyas. I mean, this is again a migrant issue, which I don't think it managed to take off. But Shiva Sena keeps raising. I'm again talking of Uddhav Shiva Sena, of the language issue. They keep raising Marathi as an issue. I think once the RSS leader Suresh Bhaiya made a statement, probably Fadnavis found it as a good opportunity to reinstate, BJP's commitment towards Marathi, and he made this statement that Marathi should be the sole language. Last month in February, the state government also circulated a official order saying that all official activities should take place in Marathi. It also suggested that the language of communication should also be Marathi, not just written, even communication, language of communication should be Marathi. So I think this sudden affection for the language from BJP is probably more competitive in nature, and they want to face Shiva Sena squarely instead of on this issue, on this emotive issue. I think one thing I would like to say here is that whether it is Shiva Sena, Uddhav Thackeray, or whether it is BJP, and to some extent even DMK, all these parties are rather very happy taking up these emotive issues, which actually have very little relevance in today's world. When you have your mobile phones, which can quickly translate anything, and when language is not such a big issue, I think the whole idea of raking up such an issue is to only stroke emotive concerns and divert from real issues, which is actually worrying the common man. I think, therefore, it is a quick opportunity at which BJP, seem to have sprung, jumped right now. That's what I see as.
Right. Okay. So, Vivek, do you see this language war triggering any further? Maybe it's, I mean, after Tamil Nadu, we've seen Maharashtra, and of course, the trigger, as you pointed out, that could be the BMC elections. But then, as time passes by, we again would see elections in Bihar. So, are we going to see this similar kind of a language sentiment being waked up in several other states?
Yeah, I don't know about several other states, but I think this issue will certainly crop up when the municipal elections in Maharashtra come up, particularly in Mumbai and adjoining areas where the sentiment around Marathi language is very strong. It's not much the same in Vidarbha, for example, or in Marathwada, but I think it's very strong in Mumbai and other. It has been traditionally very strong. So there, it will certainly reflect in the local politics, in the electoral politics as well. In other states, where their elections are due, I don't know if this particular controversy will get reflected in some sentiments there. But if this grows, like if this grows into a Marathi versus non-Marathi, or Marathi versus Hindi Bhashi people in Mumbai and other areas, then I think it will also reflect in opposite way in elections in Bihar. It can. I mean, it can. It will always have some bearing on the elections in Bihar. So, how this will actually turn out over the next few months, we don't know. But it will certainly. I mean, the vested interest will keep it boiling. Now they have got a very good opportunity to rake up this issue. And when the RSS leader of the stature of Bhaiyyaji Joshi says this, then nobody is going to give him a benefit of doubt that he did not say it intentionally. Because when the RSS leaders speak, they definitely have some motive behind it. They definitely have some design behind it. That is the experience of so many years, as far as the RSS RSS leaders' statements are concerned. So people will definitely attach some motive to what Bhaiyyaji Joshi has said, and it will certainly be reflected in the outcomes of the elections if the concerned parties will decide to take it up when the campaign actually takes off. So we will have to just wait and see how this thing actually goes further from here, Nilu.
So, Srini, sir, what would we really say towards the end of this language war? Do we see an indication where the language sentiment, of course, now that the shelf life of this Hindu Muslim card, which BJP has been playing so far, it's more or less over, with the courts also now saying that we cannot keep raking up this issue of shivlings and several other things. They've tried to play this card over and over again, and I guess it has been overplayed. So, are BJP and RSS looking for this new window of coming up with a new sentiment altogether, where a new emotive issue is being manufactured across the country? Do you see a possibility of that growing?
Yeah. So what we know is there are two issues which have become, kind of a constant in the playbook of the right-wing forces. One is emotive issues, raise as many emotive issues as possible, and then even other parties are not behind. Even DMK would like to take advantage if an emotive issue is, triggered due to language policy. So one is emotive issue. The second is while stoking these emotions, how do they manage how do they manage things electorally? That's the question which I think which they would like to kind of address. if you ask that whether this particular issue has a potential to polarize, whether language as an issue has any potential, let's just simply wind back. Like in the age of social media, impact of a statement made in one state spreads across several others. For instance, when Udayanidhi Stalin spoke before Maharashtra election 2 years ago about calling Sanatan Dharma as to be squeezed like mosquitoes, it had an immediate impact in Madhya Pradesh elections, assembly elections. So whether any attempt is being made, there are only elections this year assembly, which is basically Bihar, and next year Tamil Nadu, and there is a BMC election in Maharashtra. So whether any, like Vivek Deshpande says that RSS leaders do not say things in idle, there must be a certain idea behind their statements. And I'm sure these are, if these are loaded statements, then they have impregnated with meaning, then certainly it has to do with electoral politics. Whether it has any reflection in Bihar or whether it will have any reflection in Tamil Nadu next year, we'll have to wait, watch, and see how it pans out. But certainly, language is a very sensitive issue. It's very close to people, and it has a very high potential of getting ignited. For instance, even Tamil Nadu, despite being a Tamil identity state, DMK had to issue a statement when certain statements were made against, migrant workers from Bihar in Tamil Nadu. I mean, they probably were, ill-treated in a train incident, and the Tamil Nadu government investigated and had to, respond to the Nitish Kumar government. They actually sent few officials to find out what has happened to the plight of Bihar workers in Tamil Nadu. So these kind of issues have now become cross state, intra-state issues. Relations could get affected. At present, Tamil Nadu is a net importer of workers. Bihar and UP are the net exporter of migrant laborers, and Maharashtra also received a lot of migrant laborers from these other states. Uh, so how BJP is now a party which rules at the center. It has also aspirations to win the next assembly elections in Bihar. So it has to really balance out these issues and see that how it affects their own prospect in these states. To do politically something being in opposition is entirely different from what they do when they are in power. So we'll have to wait and watch how this actually pans out.
Right. So certainly there is an emotive issue when they rake up the language war, or whether it's in Tamil Nadu or whether it is in Maharashtra. And now with Bihar elections around the corner, I don't know what issue will really come up. So we'll have to keep a close watch on this particular issue. Thank you so much, Srinisa, Vivek. It was wonderful to have both of you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you.